The hospital smelled of antiseptic and quiet fear, the kind that clung to your chest and refused to let go. Mr. Demotte sat on the edge of a hard plastic chair, his shoulders slightly hunched, as if life itself had taught him to take up less space. His hand tightly held his daughter's small fingers. Sarah sat beside him, swinging her legs nervously, the soles of her worn shoes barely brushing the floor. Her eyes wandered around the waiting area at the nurses passing by, at the ticking wall clock, at other parents whose faces carried the same unspoken worry. Mr. Demotte tried to smile for her. It was a smile he had practiced for years, soft, reassuring, hiding the storm inside his chest. He was a single father, and every hospital visit reminded him how fragile his world was. Since his wife's death, he had learned to be both parents at once, strong and gentle, brave and terrified. The doctor had said the checkup was routine, nothing serious. But for Mr. Demotte, nothing ever felt routine when it came to his child. Sarah was his entire universe. If anything happened to her, he didn't know how he would keep breathing. Just as the nurse stepped out and called Sarah's name, a sudden announcement echoed through the hospital speakers, sharp and urgent, cutting through the low murmur of voices. Attention please. We urgently require O-positive blood for a critical pediatric patient in the ICU. O-positive donors, please report immediately. The words seemed to hang in the air, heavy and trembling, like a desperate cry for help. Mr. Demotte's heart skipped. O-positive, that was his blood type for a moment. Everything around him blurred. He looked down at Sarat, her small hand wrapped around his finger, at her trusting eyes and then toward the corridor leading to the ICU. He had come here for his daughter. He was already afraid. What if something went wrong? What if he became weak? What if Sarah needed him? But then another thought pierced through the fear. Somewhere in this building, another child was fighting for her life. Another parent was probably standing on the edge of losing everything. Mr. Demotte swallowed hard. He bent down, pressed a gentle kiss to Sarah's forehead, breathing in the familiar scent of her hair like it was oxygen. Sweetheart, he said softly, forcing his voice to stay steady. Sit here for a minute. Okay, Papa needs to help someone. I'll be right back. Sarah nodded without hesitation. She always trusted him. That trust both strengthened him and broke his heart. Before fear could argue with his conscience, his feet were already moving. The emergency wing was chaos wrapped in control. Doctors rushed past with urgent expressions. Nurses called out instructions. Machines beeped in frantic rhythms. Through a glass wall, Mr. Demotte saw a small body lying on a bed, a little girl, pale and motionless, surrounded by wires and tubes far too big for her fragile frame. He felt his throat tighten. She could have been Sarah. He didn't ask her name. He didn't ask who her parents were. When the nurse confirmed his blood type, he simply rolled up his sleeve. Sir, the nurse said gently, noticing his tired eyes and thin frame. Are you sure you're okay to donate? Mr. Demotte gave a faint smile. I'm a father, he replied quietly. That's enough. As the needle pierced his arm, a sharp sting spread through him. He closed his eyes. His body felt weak, but his heart felt strangely strong. Silent tears slipped from the corners of his eyes as he prayed not for thanks, not for recognition, but for the life of a child he didn't even know. Please, he whispered, barely audible, let her live. Several floors above, in a private ICU room, Elena Cross stood frozen beside her daughter's bed. To the world, she was untouchable, the brilliant and ruthless CEO of Crosstech Industries, a woman who ruled boardrooms and headlines alike. Her name commanded respect, fear, and envy, but none of that mattered now. Her daughter, Lily, lay unconscious, her tiny chest rising and falling with mechanical assistance. Elena's perfectly tailored suit was wrinkled, her hair slightly undone, her face streaked with tears she no longer cared to hide. She held Lily's small hand as if letting go might mean losing her forever. I'm here, baby, she whispered, her voice breaking. Mummy's here, please don't leave me. When the doctor rushed in and explained that a blood donor had been found, Elena felt her knees give way. She sank into a chair, trembling not with relief yet, but with desperate hope. She had built an empire, controlled thousands of lives through business decisions, but she was powerless here. Hours passed like years. Then finally, the doctor returned with a soft, hopeful smile. The transfusion worked, he said. Your daughter is stable. Elena covered her face and sobbed, not the controlled tears of a CEO, but the raw, broken cries of a mother who had almost lost her child. Who saved her? She asked between gasps. Who gave the blood? The nurse checked the record. A man named Mr. Demotte. He didn't ask who the patient was. He volunteered immediately. The name struck Elena like lightning. Mr. Dem at ... Her mind was pulled back in time, violently and clearly. Rain pouring down, traffic horns blaring. Her luxury car stalled in the middle of the road after a minor collision. Her anger boiling over, stepping out, shouting at the driver of an old, scratched sedan, mocking his car, his clothes, his life. And him standing there calmly, apologizing again and again, protecting his young daughter sitting inside his car. Asterisk. She remembered how she drove away feeling superior. Asterisk. Now that same man had saved her daughter's life. Asterisk. The shame nearly crushed her. Asterisk. Days later, Lily recovered enough to go home. Laughter slowly returned to Alina's house, but peace did not return to her heart. Gratitude and guilt burned inside her like an open wound. She couldn't forget his face. She couldn't forget what he had done or what she had done to him. Asterisk. She ordered her assistant to find Mr. Demotte. Asterisk. When Mr. Demotte walked into the glass-filled office of Crosstech Industries, he felt like he didn't belong in that world. The city stretched endlessly behind the windows. His hands trembled slightly as he stood there, wondering why a powerful CEO would want to see him. Asterisk. Alina stood the moment she saw him. The powerful woman everyone feared now looked fragile, human. Asterisk. It was you, she said softly. The man on the road, and the man in the hospital. Asterisk. Mr. Demotte nodded politely. I didn't know who the child was, he said honestly. I would have done it anyway. That was when Alina broke. I mocked you, she whispered, tears streaming freely. I judged you, I looked down on you, and you saved my daughter without knowing who I was. Asterisk. She bowed her head not as a CEO, but as a mother. I'm sorry, she said. From my heart. Asterisk. Mr. Demotte stood in silence for a long moment. Then he smiled gently, the kind of smile shaped by pain and forgiveness. We all make mistakes, he said. What matters is what we choose to do when someone needs us. Asterisk. That day, Alina offered him a job that changed his life, but more importantly, she offered him respect, dignity, and a sincere apology. Asterisk. As Mr. Demotte walked out of the office, sunlight pouring through the glass walls, he felt something he hadn't felt in years. Hope, kindness, he realized, doesn't ask who deserves it, and sometimes, the quietest hearts, those who carry pain, silently hold the greatest power to change lives forever.